I'm going to say something today that will make some people uncomfortable, and I don't care. Staying single, especially in your 20s, might genuinely be the smartest, most powerful decision a man can make for his future. Not because relationships are bad, not because women are the enemy, but because most men are entering relationships at the exact wrong time, for the wrong reasons, before they've built a foundation that would make them a strong partner in the first place. Society tells you that you need a relationship to be complete, that being single means something is wrong with you, that you should be chasing a partner as fast as possible. Today I'm going to challenge every part of that narrative. My name is Max. Welcome to Max Up the Wealth. This video is supported by FlexClip AI. Link is at the description below. Let's get into it. Before you get defensive, this isn't about hating relationships forever. This is about timing, priorities, and building yourself into the man you're actually capable of becoming before you split your time, energy, and resources with someone else. Stay with me till the end, because the last point is the one that changes everything. The first reason staying single is powerful. It gives you completely undivided focus during the years that matter most for building your foundation. Your 20s and early 30s are the years where your career, your skills, your financial habits, and your entire trajectory get established. Every hour, every dollar, every ounce of mental energy you have is a resource, and relationships, even good ones, require a significant portion of all three. Think about what a relationship actually demands from you. Time spent together, time spent communicating, time spent managing emotions, expectations, and conflicts, financial resources spent on dates, gifts, and eventually shared expenses, mental and emotional energy spent thinking about someone else's needs, moods, and expectations alongside your own. None of this is inherently bad, but it is resource allocation. And every resource spent on a relationship is a resource not spent on building your skills, your business, your investments, or your personal growth. Men who stay single during their foundation building years often build faster, save more, learn more skills, and take more calculated risks because they don't have to factor another person's comfort, timeline, or opinion into every major decision. You can move to a new city for an opportunity without negotiating it with a partner. You can invest your last available cash into a business idea without worrying about shared financial security. You can spend your Saturday learning a new skill instead of managing a relationship. This isn't selfishness, it's strategic focus during the specific season where focus compounds into massive long-term advantage. Here's a truth that gets lost in the rush to find a partner. You cannot give someone else what you don't have yourself. If you enter a relationship broke, directionless, emotionally unstable, or still figuring out who you are, you're not bringing your best self to that relationship. You're bringing an unfinished project and asking someone else to help finish it. Or worse, expecting the relationship itself to fix problems only you can fix through personal work. The strongest, healthiest relationships are built between two complete individuals who choose to build something together, not two incomplete people trying to complete each other. When you use your single years to build financial stability, emotional maturity, a clear sense of purpose, and genuine self-respect, you eventually show up to a relationship as a whole man with something real to offer, rather than someone seeking validation, financial rescue, or emotional stability from a partner who shouldn't have to provide it. Consider the alternative. Men who rush into relationships before developing themselves often bring unresolved insecurities, financial instability, and unclear direction into the relationship. And these unresolved issues frequently become the relationship's biggest problems. The relationship doesn't fix the man. It usually just adds pressure on top of problems that were already there, waiting to be developed and resolved individually first. Staying single isn't running from relationships. It's preparing to be excellent at one later, by becoming an excellent individual first. The man who spends his single years building himself into someone genuinely strong, stable, and purposeful becomes infinitely more attractive and more capable as a partner than the man who rushed into relationships out of loneliness or social pressure, without ever doing that internal work. Financial freedom requires uninterrupted compounding. Let's talk directly about money, because this is where staying single provides one of its most measurable advantages. Building wealth requires consistent saving and investing over long periods of time, allowing compound growth to work its magic. This requires disposable income and disciplined spending habits. Relationships, especially serious ones, inevitably involve shared or increased expenses, dates, gifts, eventually shared living costs, potentially supporting a partner during difficult periods, and later, if things progress, wedding costs, family expenses, and children's needs. None of these are bad in the right season of life, but they are significant financial commitments that directly compete with your ability to save and invest aggressively. A man who stays single and financially disciplined during his 20s can redirect what would have been relationship-related spending directly into investments, business capital, or skill development. Over 5 to 10 years, this single decision, delayed relationship spending redirected into compound growth, can result in a dramatically different financial position than a man who split those same resources with a partner during the same years. This isn't an argument that relationships prevent wealth building forever. It's an argument about sequencing. Build your financial foundation first, while you have maximum flexibility and minimum competing obligations, and you enter future relationships from a position of strength rather than financial strain. The compounding advantage of those extra years of aggressive, undistracted saving and investing cannot be overstated. Avoiding the trap of settling due to social pressure or loneliness. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Many relationships formed in someone's early 20s are formed out of social pressure, loneliness, or fear of being left behind, rather than genuine, well-considered compatibility. Watching friends pair off, feeling societal pressure about timelines, or simply feeling lonely can push men into relationships that aren't actually right for them, simply because being with someone feels better than being alone in that specific moment. The problem with relationships formed this way is that they're built on the wrong foundation entirely. Instead of choosing a partner based on genuine compatibility, shared values, and mutual respect, the relationship exists primarily to solve loneliness or social anxiety. These relationships often struggle long-term because the core reason for being together wasn't actually about the two people. It was about avoiding a feeling. Staying single and becoming genuinely comfortable with your own company removes this pressure entirely. When you're not desperately trying to escape loneliness through a relationship, you're free to actually evaluate potential partners based on real compatibility rather than settling for whoever is available and willing at the moment you feel most desperate for connection. This leads to far better relationship choices later, formed from strength and genuine selection rather than fear. Learning to be genuinely happy and fulfilled while single is not a consolation prize while waiting for a relationship. It's actually a prerequisite for choosing a genuinely great partner later, rather than settling for whoever happens to be nearby when the loneliness becomes too uncomfortable to bear. Protecting your mental and emotional energy. Relationships, even healthy ones, require significant emotional labor, managing conflicts, navigating different needs and expectations, providing emotional support, and constantly considering another person's feelings alongside your own. This isn't inherently negative, but it does consume real emotional and mental bandwidth that could otherwise go toward personal growth, career building, or entrepreneurial pursuits. Men who stay single during high-growth periods of their life often report significantly more mental clarity and emotional stability, simply because they're not managing another person's emotional needs alongside their own ambitious goals. This isn't about avoiding emotional connection forever, it's about recognizing that certain seasons of intense personal building genuinely benefit from reduced emotional complexity and increased singular focus. Consider elite athletes, top entrepreneurs, and highly successful individuals across various fields. Many deliberately delay serious relationships during their most intensive building years, recognizing that divided emotional attention during critical growth periods can genuinely slow progress toward significant goals. This isn't coincidence. It's strategic recognition that certain achievements require a level of singular focus that serious relationships, by their very nature, building genuine self-worth independent of relationship status. One of the most powerful outcomes of intentionally staying single during your building years is developing genuine self-worth that isn't dependent on relationship status. Many men, without realizing it, tie a significant portion of their self-esteem to whether they have a partner, feeling incomplete, less successful, or somehow behind when single, regardless of their actual accomplishments in other areas. This dependency is genuinely dangerous because it can drive poor relationship decisions purely to escape the discomfort of feeling incomplete while single. Men who deliberately build genuine self-worth and life satisfaction, independent of relationship status, become far less susceptible to this trap. Their sense of identity and success comes from their actual achievements, growth, and character, not from whether someone else has chosen to be with them. This independent self-worth, built during single years, ultimately makes future relationships significantly healthier too. A man who enters a relationship from a place of genuine wholeness and self-respect, rather than seeking validation or completion from a partner, brings far less neediness, insecurity, and unhealthy dependency into that relationship. Paradoxically, becoming genuinely comfortable and fulfilled while single is one of the best preparations for eventually building an exceptionally healthy relationship. The compounding advantage over time. Let's zoom out and consider the compounding advantage of everything we've discussed. A man who spends his 20s single, focused, building financially, developing genuine emotional maturity and self-worth, and mastering valuable skills, enters his 30s in a dramatically different position than a man who spent those same years in relationships that consumed significant time, money, and emotional energy without necessarily building his own foundation. This isn't to say every relationship prevents growth. Some partnerships genuinely accelerate both people's development. But statistically and practically, the man who deliberately prioritized his own foundation building during his most flexible, resource-rich years typically enters his 30s with stronger finances, clearer direction, more developed skills, and greater emotional stability than his counterpart who prioritized relationships during that same window. And here's the powerful part. This stronger foundation doesn't just benefit him individually. It makes him a dramatically more attractive, capable, and valuable partner when he does eventually choose to pursue a serious relationship. The years spent single weren't years wasted avoiding love. They were years invested in becoming a man genuinely worth choosing, and genuinely capable of building something exceptional with the right partner, at the right time. This isn't anti-relationship, it's pro-sequencing. Let me be completely clear about something important. This video is not an argument against relationships forever. It's an argument about sequencing and timing. There's real, undeniable value in eventually building a partnership with the right person, at the right time, from a position of genuine strength rather than need. The argument here is simply this. Most men would be significantly better served by prioritizing personal foundation building during their most flexible years, rather than rushing into relationships prematurely due to social pressure, loneliness, or fear of being left behind. Build yourself first. Build your finances, your skills, your emotional maturity, and your genuine self-worth. Then, when you do choose to pursue a serious relationship, you'll do so as a complete, capable man, choosing a partner from strength, rather than an incomplete man seeking someone else to complete him. Staying single during your building years isn't about avoiding love. It's about sequencing your life intelligently, building the foundation first, so that when you do choose partnership, you bring genuine strength, stability, and completeness to it, rather than unresolved problems and unmet needs you're hoping someone else will solve for you. If you're currently single and feeling pressure to rush into a relationship, consider this permission to instead focus intensely on building yourself first. Your future partner, whoever they end up being, will benefit far more from meeting a complete, accomplished, emotionally mature man than they would from meeting someone still trying to figure himself out. If this video challenged how you think, hit that like button and subscribe to Max Up for more videos on mindset, money, and building your best life. Comment below, do you agree or disagree with this take? I read every comment, and I genuinely want to hear both sides. Share this with a man who needs to hear this perspective. I'll see you in the next one. Max up the wealth, let's go.